Hi there and welcome to your FAE Induction Seminar. My name is Brian Rankin with Chartered Accountants Ireland, and I'm delighted to bring you through these couple of slides by way of FAE Induction. Our agenda is as follows. We're going to do, as I say, a couple of slides on FAE, just giving you some information about the year, the academic year, and the course ahead. We'll follow that with a couple of slides from my colleague Nicola Sullivan. She's over in CA Diary, and she'll talk about how we record your experience requirement, how you go about that, and some useful information in that space. We'll then follow that with Dee France, who's manager on the CA support team, and that's the team who looks after all sorts of well-being for students as well as members, and she'll take you through a section on that. And finally, Emma Noonan, who's chair of CASI, the student representative body, will go through her section and her presentation on CASI and give you all the information you need to know for the year ahead. So then, looking and doing an overview, taking an overview of the year ahead FAE, and you'll see that FAE, as you probably know, consists of two elements: FAE Core and FAE Elective. At FAE level, the exam drives the program. So the objective of the FAE exam is to assess candidates' total competency. The FAE course is designed to integrate the knowledge, skills, and values derived from earlier studies and the work environment. At FAE, it's the way you use the knowledge you've accumulated through previous studies, work, and the FAE program. The FAE exam is very different to exams you'll have sat in the past. Building on content examined at CAP 1 and CAP 2, FAE assumes your knowledge and tests your understanding and application of that knowledge in a real business type scenario. You'll be expected to think like a professional in an integrated manner and give the professional analysis and advice expected of a chartered accountant. There's no way to cram the skills required to be successful at FAE. It takes time and practice to be able to analyze and answer case studies in the manner required. Engagement with the program is key to achieving this. So we saw just now that the FAE is made up of core and electives, and here we focus on the core element. And these here 4 points are the 4 main competency groups outlined in the competency statement. These groups will be examined during the FAE core exam. Students will be expected to integrate knowledge, experience, and skills across all technical areas when answering case studies presented in the FAE examination. At FAE core, you'll have one interim assessment in financial reporting. This exam in Advanced Application of Financial Reporting Principles, or ARF, will take place on 24th of April 2021 on our new e-assessment platform. It's worth 15% of the core FAE main exam and lasts 130 minutes. The assessment has 11 questions combining technical financial reporting, analysis, and judgment. Refer to your ARF toolkit for more information about this assessment. At FAE Electives, there is no interim assessment in the academic year 2021. 100% of the grades will be awarded in the main August exam. So moving into, still in the area of exams and looking at FAE Key Dates and e-assessments. And chances are you're already thinking about exams even at this stage, which is great. So last year, we moved to online exams via an e-assessment platform, and given its success earlier this year, we're working on the basis that all exams in 2021 will be by e-assessment. And if you're a student who was in, obviously, at CAP 2 last year, you'll be very much aware of that platform and have experience of the platform. So all agreed dates for exams, interim exams, and mocks are now available to view on the Institute website. And we have a wealth of resources available to you to get you up to speed. Moving on to FAE Electives then. And in addition to the 4 core subjects, each student completing FAE would be required to complete an elective. There will be a strong focus on electives in the second half of the timetable. Here we see the 6 FAE electives outlined here. At FAE Electives, remember there is no interim assessment in the academic year 2021. 100% of the grades will be awarded in the main August exam. So moving on to the integrated case day, and chances are you might have some queries or may know a little about what integrated case days are about. Here you'll see there are 7 case days listed. So in addition to core and elective classes, FAE students are required to attend integrated case days. Integrated case days will be delivered through a series of webinars and pre-recordings. Case days are considered to be a mandatory and are incredibly valuable for exam preparation. Students must attend at least 5 out of 7 case days to be eligible to sit the FAE exam. Integrated case days will begin in January 2021. So here we give you a little more information about what's involved in the integrated case day delivery. So firstly, looking at the recorded introduction. And a recording of an introduction to each case will be available to you at 9:30 on the morning of the case day in question. This recording will be approximately 45 minutes and will include an introduction to each case and will highlight important areas within the case, as well as pointers towards each indicator to ensure you achieve maximum educational value from the case. Once the recording has been viewed, you'll be asked to attempt the case at home, noting any questions you have regarding the case. You have until 3 p.m. to complete your answers. Moving on then to case day solutions and the live webinar. So a link to the live webinar will be available to view on the Learning Hub. The live webinar will commence at 3 p.m. and should run for approximately 1 to 1.5 hours, including time for questions. The lecturer will go through the solution for each case and will identify the key points for each solution during the session. We hope to make this session as interactive as possible within time allocated at the end of the session, where your questions will be answered. Polls or surveys will run throughout the session, therefore engagement is required. Following on from each webinar session, you'll have the opportunity to submit any questions you have after digesting the information from the content covered. We will accept questions by email until the Wednesday after this session has taken place. The questions will then be collated and submitted to the lecturer. The team will share responses to these questions with all students approximately 1 week after the webinar has taken place. Your queries can be sent to fae@charteredaccountants.ie email. Your email must include the following in the subject line: the case name, indicator number, and indicator topic. Lastly then, onto the recorded solution. In addition to the live webinar, a separate recording of the solutions will be provided each Friday, approximately 1 week after the case day has taken place. This recording will provide more in-depth coverage of the solution for each case. The written solution for the case will also be provided on this date. Moving on then to FAE Webinar Delivery. And the FAE program puts significant responsibility on you to prepare in advance of coming to webinars or case days. Preparation will involve reading chapters from the supporting textbook and/or assigned questions. Information on pre-requirements is available on the Learning Hub. During the webinars, the lecturer will not necessarily be going through all the slides in detail. You'll be expected to follow the learning journal as part of your pre-webinar preparation. Webinars will be used as much as possible as a place for discussion of the more challenging areas within the course. Preparation is essential to maximize your learning. On to FAE Attendance then, and we understand that balancing work and study can be challenging, but there is a clear correlation between course attendance and exam success. We record your attendance and engagement with the learning materials for a couple of reasons. It's a requirement of some training firms. It's used to track if any student is not keeping up and where we may need to intervene, and also to assess how students are engaging with our online learning materials in the first year. Attendance this year will be a combination of webinar attendance and engagement data from the Learning Hub platform. When you join an online webinar, you'll have to fill in your information, including student number and training firm. And in that way, a report is then generated which shows if the student attended and engaged during the webinar. Book collection then, and in response to the ongoing situation with COVID-19 and in the interests of student and staff safety, there will be no book collections in operation this year. Instead, books will be dispatched by our distributor Shanahan's, who will contact the student directly once their enrolment has been processed. Distribution will commence in early December. You'll see here, this is the contact form that you'll receive from Shanahan's, and it just confirms the address details, and you're asked to confirm that the address details are correct. If you have any queries, email textbookqueries@charteredaccountants.ie. Timetables then, and at this time of year, normally we'd be finalising course timetables for lectures taking place in our facilities in Dublin and Belfast, but of course things are different this year. For 2021, timetables will be dealt with slightly differently. We'll be releasing content onto the Learning Hub in small 6-week chunks. This will enable us to take on board your feedback and make incremental developments and improvements as we move through the year. On that basis, your first timetable will cover the first 6 weeks of the course, and semester 2 timetables will be released in December. Remember also that much of the education content is either pre-recorded or quizzes or case studies, which are not tied to a time, and you can choose to engage with when it suits you. Your first lecture will include an induction talk, which will give you guidance on what to expect during the academic year. We do our best to avoid any timetable changes, but they can happen due to unforeseen circumstances. If a change is required, we will send a text message or a message via the Learning Hub to let you know. So please ensure that both your mobile number and email details are correct on the student portal of the website. Moving on then, and one of the most important questions you're going to have is, where do I access my learning and education? Where are all the lectures, etc.? And the answer is, it's through a new online education portal called the Learning Hub. If anyone has experience of using Moodle as an online portal, well, ours is based on that. It's very intuitive and easy to navigate. And for instance, this is what you'll see when you visit the FAE dashboard. You'll get your login details a few days before the commencement date for FAE. And by way of training, we've created another video in this section of the website, which brings you through all the different tools available on the Learning Hub. Please note that when you log in for the first time, you're not going to see all the material for the full year. Instead, you'll see the first tranche or section of learning materials covering the first 6 weeks to 2 months. We've taken this approach so that we can make incremental improvements to the material while learning from our experience and your feedback as we go. All of these important documents here will be available on the Learning Hub. The competency statement, the learning journals for each subject, and the timetables, which will also be available on the current students section of the Institute website. Please ensure that you download the FAE timetable so you don't miss any live webinars. There's no need to write all of these important dates down because we've created the key dates section, which is available in the current students part of the website. If you go to the homepage of charteredaccountants.ie, drop down current students, then you'll see an option there for key dates. Here you'll see the dates that so far have been agreed. These are subject to change and to addition, so please ensure that you continue to view and visit this page regularly throughout the year. So I've touched on the unusual circumstances we find ourselves in this year. As you know, all education will be delivered exclusively online for this academic year to adhere with public health guidelines. So just as we're having to get used to a completely new way of education delivery online, we'll be asking you to approach fully online professional education differently this year. To be successful with online education takes a much more active, committed approach. and we're flagging this to you at the very start of your studies. There'll be much more responsibility placed on the individual student to take ownership of your studies and manage your time to get through a packed syllabus. The Learning Hub will record your activity on the platform to ensure no one falls behind, and you'll get reminders via email to complete a session. But it's going to be up to you to manage your progress. So, for instance, when it comes to attending the live webinars, which will be focused on exam questions and solutions, you'll be expected to have done all the pre-work beforehand. We've listed some other tips here to assist you in the particular circumstances, particularly difficult circumstances that we have in the current environment. So tips like prioritizing your time, paying attention to creating a workspace specifically for you, ensuring that you do something that you love, make a plan and be realistic, recognize your highs and lows during the academic year, and if you need help, reach out and ask for it. Take some time to take exercise and take care of your health over the year. Accountancy Ireland Extra then, and another one of the special services for our students that you'll probably be aware of is Accountancy Ireland Extra. It's the student-focused version of our member magazine, Accountancy Ireland. The team pulled together stories of interest to our student population, and there's also good material for dropping into exam answers, so it's well worth a look. You'll see the stories in the Learning Hub. Student surveys are always important to us, but never more than this year, as we embark on our exclusively online education provision. The usual surveys in December and April cover the course as a whole, but this year we'll be aiming to get feedback from you on each specific subject. So our ask to you here is to please take part and give us your feedback. It's hugely valued and will be listened to. Lastly then, the important contacts for you to get in contact with the FAE team. You'll see Bogdan is our program leader, assisted by Carney, Michael, Orna, and Laura, who looks after NI queries in particular. For FAE general queries, here's the email address, fae@charteredaccountants.ie. And for FAE exam queries, please use the faeexam@charteredaccountants.ie. I hope you found those slides for induction to FAE useful, and I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you every success in the year ahead.
Hello everybody, my name is Nicola Sullivan. I am a member of the team in the Training Support Unit in Chartered Accountants Ireland. And in the Training Support Unit, we look after the CA Diary of Professional Development and any queries that you may have around the professional development piece. So I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about the CA Diary of Professional Development. First off, what is the CA Diary? The diary is an essential online instrument for documenting and approving relevant work experience during the entire training period. And something important to note here is that the CA Diary is not something that's updated at the end of your training period when you've finished exams. It is expected that you will keep the diary up to date throughout the entire training period. The CA Diary is integral to the student journey and admission to membership. So as we look down the line towards admission to membership, you need your completed exams, but you also need a completed CA Diary to be eligible to join the Institute. So the purpose of the professional development piece is to show us that you have acquired a group of core mandatory skills and competencies throughout the training period. Depending on your educational background, you will be assigned either a 3.5 year or a 4-year training period. 3.5 years is the average that most trainees will complete. And throughout those years, you will be demonstrating to us through the CA Diary that you have acquired these professional values and interpersonal skills, that you have an awareness of the business environment, and those competencies are what we would refer to as your core generic transferable skills. And then as an add-on to that, you also have to demonstrate that you've met one group of functional competencies, and they could be from the auditing group, the finance group, tax, or IT. We do have a recognition of prior experience policy, which can recognise prior experience up to a maximum of 18 months. And if you are entering the programme with any prior experience that you would like to get recognised, please do reach out to us at Training Support and we can help you. So, the principles of the CA Diary are really learning through reflection on work experience. And this is a fantastic practice to get into, reflecting and evaluating back on your own work. The CA Diary is a portfolio of your learning and development. It's an excellent tool to tap into throughout your career. When you're going for job interviews, you can look back on the CA Diary and take examples for interviews of all those wonderful competencies that you've achieved throughout your training. The CA Diary is your responsibility, so it is the responsibility of the trainee to update the diary with at least one entry per month. You should set review dates with your mentor. Keep on top of your mentor. Make sure they're reviewing your diary entries. Make sure they're completing 6 monthly reviews. Use the supports available to you. So you will see under Student Centre on our website, there is a page called CA Diary Resources. And on that page, you'll find lots of PDF guides, video tutorials, and recordings of recent webinars we have delivered, and use all of those supports available to you. Your goal is ultimately admission to membership. In order to be eligible for admission to membership, you need your exams, the education piece, and your experience demonstrated through the CA Diary. So don't panic. Please don't panic. Support on the CA Diary is available to you. There's lots of, as I said, recorded tutorials and webinars available. We do recommend recording at least one diary entry a month. If you ever have any queries, concerns, anything you would like to discuss regarding the CA Diary, please don't hesitate to reach out to us on trainingsupport@charteredaccountants.ie. And how do you gain access to the CA Diary? Two things: you need to have an approved contract, whether that's a training contract or a flexible route contract. So that must be approved. You must have a mentor assigned. If you're completing a training contract, your firm will assign a mentor. If you're on the flexible route, there is a flexible route mentor approval form on that CA Diary resources page that you can see on the screen now. Once you have those two things approved, you're going to gain access to the online diary platform. And that is through Current Students, Student Centre, and CA Diary. You're logging in with your student number and your password of choice, and you're gaining access to that online platform to create your diary entries. All right, folks, that's everything from me. As I said, please don't hesitate to contact Training Support at charteredaccountants.ie at any time, and we'll be happy to help. Thank you. Stop recording.
Hello everyone, my name is Dee France and I'm the manager of CA Support. This is an additional service here at the Institute, and I'd just like to run through a couple of the services that we provide for you. So our mission is pretty simple. This is our guiding principle, and it's the sole purpose is to care for the well-being of every student and every member for life. So just a little bit about the history of this service. The background is we have been around for quite a long time, 1928, and we were founded originally as a benevolent fund. So that was primarily to provide financial assistance to members that fell on hard times. So these days we've evolved into a fully holistic service, and that's very much about a people-centered service and looking after the whole person, so around your mental and your physical health. These days we're a registered charity as well, and we have a donation-based model where all of our services rely on donations from members of the Institute. We're separate to the Institute. We sit alongside the Institute with our own board of directors, and we actually have a dedicated team to look after this service as well. So just moving on, so what is it we actually do? So as I say, our sole purpose is about empowering and supporting our students and our members. We like to think that we're a one-stop shop for all of your well-being needs, and we are all about providing those practical and emotional supports to you throughout your whole life cycle. And the most important aspect here is that we are free for everybody. So there is that's a nice benefit to you. These are the sort of points in this life cycle that you may sort of hit road bumps, if you like. So obviously you're here at the very beginning, and the kind of issues that you might encounter would be around exam stress or financial issues, or indeed that work-life balance that you're trying to obtain. And then as you move through your life cycle, there would be other obstacles in your kind of personal and your professional life that we would step in to provide support around. So the other services that we offer to empower you would be the confidential listening service. We have an outside third party that provides professional counselling. And we have in-house wellness coaching provided by one of the team. And indeed those referrals over to the Institute for Career Coaching and Recruitment, a very good mentoring program that's in place. And then indeed those CPD and lifelong learning, those sort of professional development supports as well. And then obviously we run lots of mental health and wellbeing events that you're very welcome to join. So then the other supports that we have is a dedicated website with very fresh content uploaded all the time, and we tune into our key charity partners, just some of them there, A List for Life, the mental health charity Shine, another mental health charity, obviously Drink Aware speaks for itself, and then that sort of youth program spun out as well. So we try to reach you on social media channels and then through the sort of more conventional newsletters. So we're obviously there talking to you and providing content all the while. So this is where you can reach us. Pretty straightforward, as I say, that's the dedicated website. And then we have a dedicated email inbox, and that's our telephone number. So just remains for me to say very, very good luck in your journey with the Chartered Accountants of Ireland. Thanks very much.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm the current CASI chair. So today I just want to talk a bit about CASI and the regional societies and what they stand for and what they do. So to give you a broad overview, there's 7 regional societies and then there's CASI. So the regional societies are specific to each area. So for example, there's the Dublin Society, which is CASD, there's the Ulster Society and the Cork Society and so on. So where you sit your lectures depends on what society you'll fall under. So each of the regional societies host events which are specific to their region and their area. So these are events such as networking events, social events, mental health and wellbeing focused events, and educational events. CASI, on the other hand, is the overarching society which encompasses both north and south of the island. So CASI is very much chartered accountant facing. So instead of having, say, 7 chairs, Instead of having 7 chairs contact chartered accountants on different occasions throughout the year, we have a quarterly CASI meeting whereby all of the regional societies can come together, discuss any of the concerns which were raised in their region, and then CASI then escalate this on to chartered accountants. In terms of the positions on the societies, there's 7 positions on the CASI society and there's 6 positions on each of the regional societies. The 7 on CASI being the chair, the vice chair, the treasurer, the PRO, the secretary, the education officer, and then the 7th position, which isn't on the regional societies, is the events officer. So if you're interested, I'll just give you a quick overview. This is also our last AGM, which was 2020 and 2021. So this was actually the CASI AGM, which was held in February. So in terms of what we do, I know I've mentioned some of the things that we do, for example, representing your views and concerns and having social events, but we're here to help out if you have any queries for us. We work with chartered accountants to provide your feedback and give the student perspective on the education and exam programs. There's obviously more crack involved in being involved in the student societies. So for example, every year there are different regional activities which take place. In order to get involved, you're sent an email or you can follow us on our platforms, which I'll mention. But for CASI, there's one event, large event, which takes place, which gives students the opportunity to not just only network with their colleagues in their regions, but also network with students from across Ireland. This is usually held in the form of a ball down in Carlow, and it's a 2-day weekend away. So it's great crack. If you get the opportunity to attend, it's brilliant fun, and I would highly recommend. Not that I'm slightly biased being on CASI, but to get involved with CASI or any of the regional societies, our AGMs for the regional societies are in October and November. So simply drop us an email or reach out to us on our Instagram or LinkedIn, and we can set you up with the regional chairs. And to get involved with CASI, our AGM is in February. So you can get involved by sending us an email. You just speak briefly at the AGM, and then there's voting as the norm. It's obviously great to get involved. What's really great about CASI is it's an all-Ireland society. So you meet students from across the island, both north and south. So it's a great opportunity to network, get to know people from across Ireland. And yeah, so if you're interested in getting involved, feel free to reach out to us. Thanks very much.